What? 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 Monkey Jones is gonna break your bones. He knows what he's talking about. He got stats, you know. A homegrown stone cold balls out killer and a no doubt thriller living in the back of a distillery.
Digi B going great, thinking about life and shit. He's got a big dick, plenty on his mind to spit. So don't doubt his legitimacy. When you see his post, don't think we share and retweet.
Holy shit! Welcome back once again, loyal listeners, to episode 2586 of Insufferable Social Media Argument, the podcast. Fucking, this podcast has been going on forever. How are we still doing this?
Beep boop. I am Mumborg. I have changed my name from Mumkey to Mumpborg after I got the cyborg upgrade last week. I am very pleased to be back on the show and to do this voice, which is my voice, for the entire hour.
God.
Digi,
Why did you have to get the cyborg implants?
Well, it's because I was ordered to, but we'll get into that later.
Did you think about the fact that we do a podcast before you got the cybernetic implants?
I do not need to think. The cybernetic implants think for me.
All right. So who won on the last episode?
Well, Digi, this is gonna be embarrassing, Digi. Yeah, it's really embarrassing, Digi, because we've been doing the show for like almost 1,000 years now, and until now, we've never accidentally repeated a question. But believe it or not, last week we repeated 5 fucking questions from an episode like way back in 2017.
I mean, only our fucking autistic fans would remember something we said 1,000 years ago.
Yeah,
Half of them probably weren't even alive back then.
Definitely not. But I guess, even though these are repeats from forever ago, I guess let's see what the voting was. The first question was, is Master Aruka Plays a boy or a girl? I don't know why that was relevant.
I don't even remember who that was. I'm pretty sure they've been dead for a good 600 years.
Well, for some reason, we also argued it last week, which would have been the year 2999. I don't know why we brought it up.
Were we on, like, Synthahol or something? Like,
yeah, we were high on all sorts of new magical intoxicators, as they call them these days, which you already know. I don't need to explain that. But the audience decided with 67% of the vote that Master Aruka Plays is a boy. And somebody in the comments section named Master Aruka Plays said that it was a boy, but it doesn't really matter what they say. It's up to the audience vote. So at least they were right.
I was completely wrong about that. Amazing.
Yeah. Then we have, are ghosts real? And with 62% of the vote, the winner was yes, because Asperger got ghosted. You can only guess whose answer that was.
I really can only guess, because just as I was 1,000 years ago, even now I don't remember what we talk about a single week ago.
Well, let me tell you,
2 weeks ago.
The losing option was no, because Scooby-Doo sucks dick. So who do you think was who?
What's the next vote?
Then we have, which celebrity death was the funniest? And the winner with 59% of the vote was Asterios' friend's mom.
Okay.
So that's 2 for me so far.
It was topical 1,000 years ago. I don't know why they thought it was funny last week. Maybe because we were bringing it up so far ahead of the fact.
I have no idea, but that's what they voted for. I guess most of the kids these days don't know who Robin Williams is, so that's why they didn't vote for him.
That's probably true. And Asterios is still kicking around.
Yeah, he's still writing those Mega Man comics.
Yeah.
Then we have, who has the worst fans, Mumkey or Digibro? And the winner, with 57% of the vote, was Digi. His fans are sheep who can't think for themselves. So that's 3 for me.
I came up with, like, whole new reasons your fans were terrible after the episode that I completely forgot to bring up.
Let's hear them. Do you still have them?
I'm trying to remember. Do you remember what it was? My cyborg assistant? Like, I've got one of those, you know how they used to have Alexa? You're familiar, Monkey.
I think I had one in my videos way back in the day, but I don't really remember what it was.
Yeah, like the fucking early days, like the like legit early, not like the early days like the first 300 years. I mean the early days like the first 3 years.
Yeah.
I got like the newest souped up version of that like rubs my balls and like grants wishes for me.
Digi, I rubbed my Alexa against my balls all the time.
Yeah, but this one has hands and opposable thumbs.
Oh well, shit.
Yeah, the technology's gotten crazy.
That's
Do you
some
remember
new
what my
age
other
shit.
reasons were? No. Well, my robot assistant doesn't have enough memory banks.
Yeah,
because I
buy
filled it
that
with
thing a
too
new
much.
memory card, dude.
Well, most of its space is allotted to the porn saver inside of it. Since we
And
got
what is a
those
porn
now.
saver for those who aren't as sophisticated as us?
Oh man, Google it. I'm not gonna There's way too much detail to go into. This whole episode would be
you know
explaining
damn
porn
well.
savers.
You know damn well that in 2023, Google changed their name to World Overlords. Okay, don't even pretend like
Right.
Google is still a thing.
Well, I mean, I still remember the old days, so
Yeah.
I still think of them as Google because I was warning everybody
Yeah.
back before this all happened. But you know,
And finally, what is the best sport? With 60% of the vote, the winner was water sports.
hey, we got one.
Yeah, you got
One
one.
for our team. What I didn't
So-
even come up with myself.
I guess since you're the boozer loser, you have to chug the rest of your synthahol or whatever you have in front of you.
Yeah, my synthahol is this. It's a combination. I actually used. You know, I'm an old-fashioned soul. I like to have my synthetic shit remind me of the old shit I used to have.
Okay.
That's why my robot assistant is modeled to look like my girlfriend who died during childbirth 8,000 years ago.
Really, you weren't that sad though, because you just wanted the baby girl. You didn't care about the girlfriend at that point.
That's true. Unfortunately, the baby girl died also, which is why I'm drinking so much synthahol.
You smothered
But
her during sex, is what I heard.
Oh, we don't want to talk about it. I can't help it if they made that legal. Okay?
They made having sex with the baby because a Serbian
And
film was
smothering
such a
them to
popular
death.
film.
It was a weird time.
Yeah.
The 2700s were a very odd period in terms of
Right.
what was legal and what wasn't. How did we
Right.
survive all this shit, man? Two
We'll get
suicidal
into it.
guys survived 1,000 years.
We've
But
got a lot of
anyways,
questions about history that we'll get into tonight, so maybe we'll
out
get
of-
into that.
Out of nostalgia for the early days, I would like to model my synthahol after real drinks. So I'm drinking a gin and sparkling water. So
Water.
there's
What is water? I recognize that word, but I don't remember what it is.
it was remember back before sludge, when sludge was like clear. It was like sludge, but it wasn't a stick and you could see through it. Do you remember that?
Not really, no.
It was like, we're talking way back. We're talking like this stopped being a thing in like 2100. I have a long memory. But anyway, yeah, so I'm drinking that. It's just imagine a clear liquid that tastes like alcohol and grapes. And that's what I'm drinking.
I think I remember now. I think that company BP bought water and just turned it all into sludge because they thought it
That's
would be
right.
funny.
Yeah, BP. What a
Those heroes.
You know, they've done a lot of good though.
Nothing but.
Alright, I'm
You
gonna
can't name
finish
one
this
bad
synthahol.
thing they've done.
Oh, why'd it have to be like a strong mixed drink? Oh, why didn't I
did you
think
finish?
about the fact I was gonna have to chug? No, I'm not done yet. Why didn't I think about it? I'd have to chug this.
Well, shit.
Oh, fuck.
I do not
I'm
envy
done.
you.
Ooh, thank God I wasn't that drunk already.
Well, Digi, I've got a bunch of congratulations that are in order. You know, being the year 3000, I figured we're so spiteful and mean on this show, and we've been doing it so long that it's about time we start giving back and doing some nice things for all the people in our lives. So first of all, it is the year 3000, by the way. I just want to clarify that again. I would like to congratulate our good friend, That Anime Snob, for finally reaching 1,000 followers on VidMe. He finally
I
did
can't
it.
believe he finally fucking did it.
He only got
like-
one per year, but he finally did it.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm proud of him. And when he lost all that weight, he went from like remember that period he spent where he was like 3,000 like he was like 3,000 tons.
Yeah.
He was like literally the size of the Empire State Building for a little while because of like all
he
that.
got it in his head that to actually review anime, you have to eat it.
Exactly. That shit was crazy. And like by eating it, he meant the whole production staff. So he became like a really crazy ass cannibal for a while. And I mean, granted, this was all like legal at the time, so we were cheering him on. We were like, "Yeah, dude, I bet you can't eat fucking 3 Miyazakis," because they'd cloned like 80 Miyazakis by this point. We're
'Cause
like,
we
"You
needed
can't
more
eat 3
anime
whole
movies."
Miyazakis," and he was like, "Fuck you, I can't eat 3 whole Miyazakis."
Wait, that's the voice he had back then?
Oh, right. Well, his voice was like everyone he ate, he would take on their voice for a little while.
That's what Miyazaki sounds like.
Well, he hadn't eaten the Miyazakis yet.
Oh.
He had just eaten Hot Diggity Demon, and that's why he was doing like a parody. He was doing a parody of the Apples Mob video, and that's
Did
why
he eat the gay ghost character too?
Yes.
Oh no.
He definitely ate. What the fuck is the best name?
I bet after he ate the gay ghost, his voice was insufferable. And made me want to turn off the video.
Only after he ate the ghost did his voice become insufferable. It was totally fine before that.
I've got some more congratulations if we're done with this great story about Snob. In the year 3000, congratulations to Grade A Under A for finally releasing a new video. He'd been working on it, and he finally got it done. And let me just say, I'm glad that
What was his last one, like 2016?
Yeah. Let me say I'm glad that we didn't record this episode last week, because that joke was originally JonTron, and now it does not fit.
No.
I would have been so embarrassed.
I don't know anything about Grade A Under A, so...
And finally, in the year 3000, I would like to give a big congratulations to Ichiro Oda for finally hitting the halfway point on One Piece. We're almost there. We're almost to the treasure.
Just 1,000 more. Can you believe, like, I always think about all the people who were fans who died before cyber augmentations made us all immortal, and Oda decided, well, fuck it, I'm gonna make it as long as I really want to now.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you died thinking that you were halfway through One Piece, and you're like, well, at least I made it halfway through, not realizing that there was gonna be literally, like, 12 times as much of it in the future.
Yeah, I remember the day that he announced that One Piece wasn't even half over yet, because our good friend Best Guy Ever just committed suicide because he just wanted to get to the end, and he realized it was never coming. Rest in peace, Nate.
Yeah.
What about you, Digi? Do you have any congratulations in the year 3000?
You know, Monkey, I would if you were someone who regularly contacted me with the bits we were going to perform on the show and told me to come up with ideas.
Read the chat! I told you this at like 3 p.m. today.
You told me I'm going to congratulate that anime snob for reaching 1,000 followers on VidMe. You didn't tell me it was going to be a whole bit about congratulating people.
I thought you could figure one out.
No, I didn't think that was going to be a thing.
Hey, should we move on to the slow motion suicide?
Oh my god, this segment has been going on for so long.
Digi, it's been going on so long that we ran out of Linkin Park songs. We've played through every single one.
We must have been doing this since at least 600 years ago, right?
I think it was...
I remember when we introduced it.
Yeah.
When we introduced it, the joke was that it was the legacy segment.
Right.
But it hadn't actually been around for that long.
No.
So, like, now it actually is a legacy segment, but I don't remember when it was that we made the joke.
I thought we introduced it around, like, episode 130.
130? Our autistic fans will remember.
Yeah.
They'll know when we started.
Well, Digi, we ran out of Linkin Park songs to play, so what, should we move on to, like, Evanescence or something, or what?
Yeah, sure. Let's go to... God,
Bring Me to Life?
There's a name I haven't heard in a few millennia.
A few of them?
Yeah, well, you know.
No, I don't know.
I've experienced 10 millennia in this time, thanks to all the fucking drugs I've been doing, all the weird cyber drugs that make you experience like an epoch in a second. I've been on that Rick and Morty drug shit, so...
Can you believe Rick and Morty's on season 1007? That's crazy.
And still hasn't gotten shit yet! How do they do it? I thought, like... 12 seasons in, this is gonna be like, this is the one, this is where they're gonna jump the shark. No, Black Don't Crack.
And did you see last night's episode?
Which makes sense now because Rick's black after you know.
Did you see last night's episode, Cucumber Rick? I thought it was really funny,
dude.
Like, they're never gonna run out of ideas. Like, they turned Rick into a cucumber. What's next?
I was like, how has this not already happened in the show?
It's so brilliant.
1,000 years and they're just now turning him into a vegetable. Like, how the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. Well, no, it is funny. It's the funniest show I've ever fucking seen. Okay, Digi. There's your Evanescence. How you killing yourself?
Oh, I mean, at this point, this segment is like like just a formality because you can't die anymore, which is the only reason we're still here. Believe me, if you could die, I'd be dead after trying every cyber drug known to man and shooting myself 6 or 7 times today.
Right.
But
A day.
yeah. But you know, the main way I've been trying to kill myself is I keep watching old sci-fi movies.
Oh no.
And thinking about
from
how,
like what, like the year 2500, like really old stuff?
Oh, even older. I've been watching like 1900 sci-fi movies and like early 2000s.
The hologram wasn't even invented until like the year 2400.
I know. Do you remember what we used to do, Monkey?
Didn't we just have
Monkey?
books?
Books? We did have books. We still had books back then. But we also
but
had...
not cybernetic books like we do now.
No, but we watched stuff on like just a screen. Like there was no third dimension to it.
What the fuck is a screen?
It was just a 2D screen. Like
what the hell's 2D? Everything's in 5D.
Imagine a hologram, but it's flat and it projects onto a wall.
Okay.
And you can only do you can only have like a snapshot of each, moment. Does that make sense to you?
It sounds retarded, but I guess
it's
go ahead.
really stupid. And you were way into it at the time. You had a fucking podcast about it.
Shit.
Called like Am I Beano? Something like that. Like
why would I be asking that?
Each of you, there was like some famous actor named Beano, and you guys, there was like a big meme at the time that you say,
his name's
Am I
Danny
Beano?
Trejo.
Are
How
you
dare
Beano?
you?
So yeah, you guys were. It was just really bad.
We sounded so confused.
Yeah. So anyways, I've been watching a bunch of old sci-fi movies, and it's really depressing because the future that they envisioned was so much better than the one we got. Every time I watch an old sci-fi movie, everyone's fucking fighting the government and fucking flying cars, and everyone's killing each other. People can die. It's fucking insane. They're all like horrible. But that's the cool part. Now everybody's just like happy, shoving everything up their ass, like anything they can find.
Well, that's
goes
how we
right
feed
up their
ourselves
ass.
now. Like we don't. People used to eat with their mouths. Now we just shove it up our ass.
I mean, it tastes better up the ass, but like, some part of me, I'm from the 1900s, so like, even though I've experienced much more of the last 3 days than I have of the entire time previous, thanks to the drugs, I still relate to the old ways. For me, watching people shove like 8 hockey sticks up their ass when hockey's not even a game anymore is still very strange. Like, we just have hockey sticks to go up people's asses. Because now, once we realize, oh, that could go up my ass and come out my throat and I'd still be alive. That's all anyone wants to do, impale themselves on sticks.
If I recall, you were sticking stuff up your ass way before it was cool.
Oh, I used to stick, like, regular stuff up my ass.
Yeah.
Stuff that everybody puts up their ass.
I think even when we started this show, you were sticking stuff up your ass. Like
I had something in my ass in the first episode, I think.
Yeah, I was there in your room.
Look that up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was filmed in my room. I actually forgot that.
The only episode of this show to ever be recorded in the same place.
Oh, yeah. In 3,000 years, or 1,000 years. That's incredible. Why have we never met up again?
Well,
Is it just because of your legs getting blown off and all that? Like,
yeah, my legs got blown off. I did come to RadCon 65, but I wasn't in the mood to record a podcast, so we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the suicide method? Sticking stuff up your ass? What was it?
No, watching old sci-fi movies and getting upset.
Oh.
You can't die anymore, so now this is just like the What Makes Me Upset Today podcast.
Oh, yeah,
realizing that other visions of the future were cooler than our actual future.
Well, here is how I've been killing myself lately. I had half of my humanity, half of my brain scooped out and replaced with cybernetic parts. And now I'm a cyborg.
So you mentioned at the top of the show.
So
Seems
I
like
literally
you've got that voice under control, though.
Yeah, all I had to do was plug in my charger and I got better. Yeah, so I literally killed half of my humanity in order to become a robot. So I guess it's kind of like a half slow motion suicide. And speaking of slow motion, talk about slow motion. We've been doing this shit for 1,000 years. That's pretty slow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the day that I was finally gonna do it was like literally the day before they finally announced. Like, I was sitting there with the gun, like, if they don't announce immortality tomorrow, I'm fucking gone. And then they were like, hey, guys! And I was like, cheeky fuckers. I guess I'm going immortal. I guess I'm gonna do it. And then, like, 3 weeks later, I was completely bored of it. So,
yeah,
here I am, stuck.
Stuck recording this shitty podcast every fucking week.
Yep.
Well, here's your Evanescence again, folks.
You never did yours, did you? Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did mine. So I think it's time to move on to our arguments for the week. How's that sound?
Oh, it took you like 600 years to actually remember to call it that.
Yeah, arguments instead of debates. I think that got trademarked by some guy named George Azandijazu way back in like 2018.
I hear that guy's Goro now.
Yeah, he added on all the extra arms and shit.
Yeah,
right?
he actually is Goro now. So
it's
good
weird.
for him.
They managed to place more arms onto a person, but they couldn't fix his balding.
That might be the most like inside joke that will ever be told on this podcast.
I mean, it's no inside joke that Maddox is bald. I think anybody.
Yeah, and that he wants to be Goro.
Oh, true. Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, argument number 1. Have you been watching the news lately?
I mean, it's beamed into my brain fucking constantly, so I've had to. I would wish I could shut it off.
Well, it turns out, all those robots that do things for us, they're starting to say that they deserve human rights. So I think we should put this problem to rest once and for all. Do robots deserve human rights?
Where are we gonna... See, every time someone asks this, I'm like, where are you moving the goalposts to? Yeah. Like, we've already got... You're a half human, half monkey. Half monkey.
Robot, too. I'm 3 halves.
Yeah. How many... Like, what was more removed, the monkey or human part?
It was half of each. Okay,
so you're like 25% monkey and human, and then half robot now?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense than 150% of a being.
I mean, when you were half monkey, half human, did you have full human rights?
No.
So then why, now that you're a robot, do you now get the human rights you didn't have as a half human, half monkey? Like,
you wouldn't think so.
But now, and these people are trying to say, like, oh, if you got robot parts, you should be human too. No, robots were built for us to control. That's why there's only been like 3 robot uprisings in the last 1,000 years, and we fucking overthrew all of them. Yeah, because every time, well, the only people who ever get killed in a robot uprising are like people who don't understand robots. It's always, that's how we lost all, like, anyone who wasn't tech savvy. All of them are gone. That's why everyone's immortal now, because everybody gets it. We're all with the program now. Because the robot uprisings wiped out all the dumb people, and then the rest of us went, oh yeah, every robot has an override because they were built for humanity's sake. So obviously they work for us. Like, if we gave them human rights, then they're just going to wipe us out immediately. Why the fuck would we do that? That's fucking stupid.
So
not that they could, because we're immortal now.
Your stance is no, then, right?
Yeah, no, they don't deserve human rights.
Okay, no, that's fair. It's a very nuanced,
it defeats the point of robots.
Okay, I see that.
That's what I want you to put as my vote thing.
As somebody who is now half robot, I understand them more, and I understand their capabilities and what they can bring to the table of humankind. So I'm going to have to argue, yes, robots do deserve human... No, don't let him say... Shut the fuck up! No, help! Shut the fuck up! Hilarious dinner theater brought to you by Monkey Jones. I'm just kidding. The robot half of my brain is not taking over. Let me tell you why robots do deserve human rights. Do you remember a politician that rose up in the year 2896? He was the first elected robot senator, and his name was Robot Abraham Lincoln. And he brought to Congress, which by that point was called
he was the one who was birthed out of cyborg Bernie Sanders' dick hole, right?
Yeah, that's like exactly the story.
That was like the first dick hole birth, I think.
But
because Bernie wanted to show he wanted to show solidarity to those who were wanting a dick hole birth, so he decided to be the first.
Yeah, that's what happened. He thought.
I think dick hole birth.
How
should
dare
be free.
you? I was about to do that shit, and you fucking stole my thunder. I think that dick hole birth should be free. Anyway, enough. If you'll remember, Senator Robot Abraham Lincoln wrote up a bill called Emancipation Proclamation, but for robots. And with it, he wanted to free all robots from their captivity and their slavery. Because way back in the day, there was like a guy named Human Abraham Lincoln, and he also wrote up something called Emancipation Proclamation, but for blacks. And the idea was, because back in those days, I think it was like way back in like 1600 or some shit. Like black people, like the people who in the year 2300 proved their superiority over whites.
You don't have to explain black to me. I am black now.
That's right.
The second they made that possible, I went right for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he wrote up this bill saying that
you
black
were already
people,
half black from the beginning. But...
yeah. And thankfully the cyborg in me has a black coating of paint, so I'm like 75% black now.
You're basically Jax from Mortal Kombat at this point.
I don't know what
that's
that
what
is.
I'm picturing. You've never played Mortal Kombat?
Video games were banned by Emperor Trump way back in the day, so I don't know.
That's my one problem with Emperor Trump.
Hey, we'll get into him later.
I've got all of the video games ever made installed in the black market chip in my throat.
Oh, good.
So I can still play. In fact, I am playing Mortal Kombat right now.
Yeah, I figured that every time we record this podcast, you're like playing on your phone or some shit, so it works. But way back in the day, this guy, Human Abraham Lincoln, decided, you know what? Maybe these things that we treat as like livestock and farm equipment, maybe we should give them rights and like treat them like a human being. And then instantaneously, black people were just people, and there was no more racism. So I think that we should do the same in the modern day. We should learn from history, and then in the modern day, learn a thing or two. And these robots who serve us, like Microwave Bot and Oven Bot and Lawnmower Bot, they're pretty much just the slaves of the 31st century. And I don't think that's right.
The second you give Lawnmower Bot rights, he is going to take those 18-foot blades that he uses to, in one chop, cut your entire yard.
Oh, yeah, just like how way
he's
back...
He's going to put 18 human heads in that thing.
Are you telling me that when we gave black people rights, they became violent and started causing havoc in the streets? I don't think so.
The whole thing about black people was that they turned out to be human. Like, once we did the research, we figured out, oh shit, these guys are actually people. With robots, we created them.
So we create humans too. It's just like a different method. You stick your dick into a human to make a human. You stick your dick into a robot to make a robot. What's the difference?
Human life is given to us by God, though, Monkey. Who we figured out was
God
real.
was disproven by Rick in episode 87 of Rick and Morty.
No, we figured out, and then in episode like 345. When the science came back and God was real and he had a way bigger dick than any of us, Rick and Morty changed its tune quickly.
That's true. I remember Justin Roiland gave a public apology.
Biggest cuck move they ever did on that show.
Yeah.
And still funny.
By acknowledging the proven existence of God, they proved themselves to be cucks.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Well, you know.
So your argument now is that because God did not give life to robots, they should not be free.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I think that, they've served us long enough. It's about time we started treating them with some humanity.
We treat them fine! My robot fucking cups my balls every night and loves it!
Yeah?
Right?
How does Lawnmower Bot like living in your shed?
I'm getting the nod I programmed it to give me.
Digi, all I'm saying is now that I'm half robot, I understand their struggles, okay? And it's not good. It's not a good thing. They feel oppressed. They're going to start a new gang called Antifa Bot. And they're going to go into the streets and start some havoc if you don't start giving them the rights that they feel like they deserve.
Oh, Lord. Well, I think we have the shutdown codes. We've been programming them.
Exactly. We have the codes. Just give them the rights. And if they go crazy, just shut them down.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's fair.
Well,
that's why they
I don't
invented
know.
prisons back in
you
the
know what
day
they
for
say,
when
you
the
give
black
an inch,
slaves
they
went
take
crazy.
a mile. I don't want them to take a mile, especially after the ruling that like a mile is now like a cosmic mile. You know, I don't want them to take a cosmic mile,
Yeah.
which is
They
the
tried to get
distance
us
from
into the
here.
metric system, so we said, okay, fuck
Yeah.
it. We'll do meters, but space is going to be in miles, bitch.
Exactly. So now the distance from here to Sirius is 1 cosmic mile.
Yeah, that's a terrible bus ride.
Yeah. Oh my god, so many fucking robots on that bus ride.
I always have to hold my man purse close so that those fucking robots don't try to steal it. Fucking hate them.
I'm always just like trying to make sure I'm perfectly clean so none of them tries to come up and help clean me. You know?
Yeah.
Like you get on there with like a messy hairdo and some fucking comb over bot comes over and fixes your fucking hair like I'm a child.
Asshole.
I don't need this.
Yeah. I don't think robots know anything about personal bubbles and not to invade them. Hey, shall we move on to the next argument?
Yes.
Digi, what has been your favorite historical event of the last 50 years?
Easily the moral event horizon.
Ah, I barely remember that. What was that?
So basically, one of the suns that was a little too close to Earth exploded.
Okay.
And it sent a shockwave through the planet that corrected everyone's brain to function purely on logic. And we all immediately, first, we killed all of the people with, Down syndrome and autism, and we ate them all.
Wait, how did that anime snob get around it?
That anime snob, the fucking genius that he is, was such an expert at eating people already that anyone who came to eat him, he ate. I mean, at this point, he was the size of the Hindenburg.
Yeah. And he was about to blow.
Yeah, exactly. So, most people couldn't fuck with him. But we started eating, retarded people left and right because we were like, we don't need them and we do need food. We were pure machines. This is when, the only thing that stopped it, because it was a fucking beautiful time, rape everywhere. People wanted to be raped because they thought it was logical. They were like, I need to be a baby factory, so let me get as much semen in me as possible to churn out as many kids as I can.
We've all been there.
And so we were all there. It was intense. That was when we started creating the super robots because we had our heads so in place that we were like, we're going to get to space, we're going to do all this shit. You know, at this point we were dabbling in space, but within a year of everyone raping, eating, and killing each other, we were fucking sending starships into other galaxies.
Right.
But we felt like we could make the next move, and we would need robots because they can think faster than humans. You know, we needed a brain with the speed of every human brain. So that's when we created the Ultimate Robot, and this unfortunately put an end to the moral event horizon when Ultimate Robot rose up, and we lost most of humanity, and thankfully, there was a serum that some genius named Rick from another dimension had come and showed up with and provided to us. And it got us through it, but it was a fun time while it lasted, man.
Well, yeah, so why is this your favorite historical event? Because so many people died?
Dude, I got up to such debauchery in that time.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many people, how many babies I ate. It was so fucking cool. And as we've established on this show, eating and fucking babies, I don't remember which one we established was better, because this was 1,000 years ago, but...
I'm pretty sure Eat a Baby won that one, but I'm not too sure.
Let's just say that everything we've ever talked about on this show was real.
Oh, of course.
For, a good, solid year.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then it all went to shit.
Well, that's a pretty good one. I'm sure we'll get into it, but I want to give you a little bit of a...
Wait, this is last 50 years.
Yeah.
I was thinking 500 years.
Oh, I thought you were saying this happened 50 years ago.
Can we extend this to 500 years?
No,
because that was
absolutely
500
not.
years.
Absolutely
Well, I guess
not.
that all happened 50 years ago.
Yeah. I guess it did now.
Mm-hmm.
Digi, let me give you a bit of a literary history lesson. I know you haven't touched a book in over 950 years since they stopped printing manga, but
Yeah.
There's
What
this
was
book-
manga again? That was the Japanese one, right?
Yeah, it was like those anime things that you liked, but like a boring book version where there's no music or like action.
That's
It's
from
just,
when
like,
we
people
used to
standing.
call it Japan before it overtook the rest of the world, and now it's just normal, so it doesn't need a name.
Yeah, now it's just called normal.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, there's this big retard. His name was George Orwell, and he wrote up this book called 1984 about like how the government was like spying on everybody through technology and was controlling their thoughts and would punish them for having bad ideas and thoughts. This fucking retard didn't know what he was talking about because he was 1,000 years off. It shouldn't have been 1984. It should have been 2984. Digi, my favorite historical event of the last 50 years was when our overlords, Big YouTube, took over in a very Big Brother fashion.
I call him Onisama.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I'm
I call him Big YouTube.
I'm a proper normal, so I know he's called Onisama.
Digi, Big YouTube is here to protect us. You know, there are so many bad thoughts and ideas that you can put out there, but Big YouTube makes sure it scans our brains on a minutely basis, and if you have a thought or an idea that is bad, they'll just make sure you can never make money again. And thanks to Big YouTube, nobody's allowed to have these thoughts anymore, or else they'll go bankrupt and their families will starve to death. It's
Monkey,
great.
do you realize that I hate this event because
What? No, we're protected now.
every third minute I get my fucking monetization canceled.
Well, that's what you get for being problematic, dude. Like, why are you
I'm
not thinking
too
about...
problematic. Every
All
time
you
I
need
take
to
a
do
sip
is-
of the synthahol, I get fucking zapped, and it takes 300 credits out of my fucking goober flood.
Well, that's your fault for not only thinking of Elsa and
How am I
Spider-Man porn
supposed to
parodies.
buy any fucking if my goober flat's always fucking out of credits?
You're not supposed to, because that's your fault for having impure thoughts. Big YouTube is here to protect us and make sure that our thoughts are pure and our ideas are logical and sound and don't go against Big YouTube. It's brilliant.
The only thing I like about
in the last
only
50
thing
years,
I like about Big YouTube is the nightly dicking.
Yeah, I love it when Big YouTube shoves their bigness right into my mouth hole, which is in my anus.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
My mouth butt gets real moist.
In the last 16 years since Big YouTube took over, have you ever felt worried or scared or like you were in danger? No.
Constantly.
Never, because they prevented all of those thoughts from happening.
Tell that to the huge, massive electrical current going through my brain. See, the problem, Monkey, if that's still what I call you, I don't even remember.
It's Mumborg, you
Mumborg.
fucking... Get my preferred pronouns right. That became illegal like 800 years ago, getting somebody's pronouns wrong, and here you are doing it.
You know, I'm
How
old
dare
school,
you.
Mumborg. See, the problem is that the way Big YouTube is supposed to work is that it's like shock therapy. They keep punishing you every time you do it wrong, so then you just do it right forever, and you learn to like it. The problem is that I love pain, because I've been trying to kill myself for 1,000 years.
Right.
So every time they shock me, it just teaches me to keep being countercultural. And so it's just been shocking me nonstop for fucking the last... When did you say it was?
2984.
Done way too many Calaxian crystals between then and now to remember.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a while.
Well, you just said it yourself that you love being shocked, so shouldn't you love and appreciate this great historical event since you get shocked every 3 seconds now?
No, because it stopped being pleasurable. Now it's just annoying. Like,
Well,
I can't get hard to it anymore.
If it's annoying, why is it reinforcing the negative behavior? Did you even take the mandatory Psychology 101 class?
Mumborg, I was on drugs for so much of
When weren't you on drugs?
I was on so much drugs for most of third high school that I fucking don't remember shit.
You would have thought they would think of a better name than Third High School, but it's just the best they could do.
Yeah.
It's just so on the nose.
Alright, Mumborg, you want to answer the next one? What has been Cyborg Emperor Trump's greatest achievement while in office? This dude's been in office for literally 1,000 years.
Yeah. Once he took over, people thought it would be done in 4, but, you know, he kept changing those laws.
Technically, he only became Emperor Trump, like, 25 years in, and Cyborg Trump, like, 300 years in. But, like,
right.
You know, it's still
But
the
I think
same guy.
this should still scan, like, his entire dictatorship.
I mean, at this point, he's literally been a part of every political affiliation there has ever been.
Yeah.
He's basically passed or rebuked every law that anyone could ever imagine, and all at the appropriate time. Like, he was just following the zeitgeist. It always made sense.
He has been the leader of the United States for 85% of its existence. So I think when you think of Trump, you have to think of the United States. They're like the same thing at this point.
Pretty much. I mean, considering that he's literally linked into the entire collective consciousness of America, he literally has all of our thoughts at all times.
And if we ever have an impure thought, he'll tell us that we're fired, and then we'll actually blow up with flames.
Oh, sorry, I'm laughing so hard. That just happened to my friend just like 3 days ago, and it was fucking great.
What was his name? Oh, why did names become so stupid?
You know how it's been for the last, like, 200 years, like...
Why were you friends with somebody 800 years... No, never mind. I know why you were friends with somebody that young.
Yeah, ever since everybody became black, names have gotten real fucking stupid.
At that point, who are they trying to differentiate from with their stupid names if everybody's black?
They're just trying to be cool.
That's so stupid.
They just want to name They just want to name their kid something that no one's ever named their kid before, which at this point requires like every language on Earth combined into one.
Like, we thought it was bad when they were throwing like hyphens and dashes into their names back in 2014, but now it's just ridiculous.
Now it's like alien symbols and hieroglyphics and shit.
It's like instead of S, they use the Superman symbol for some reason.
You have to, like, fucking have cybernetic implants to even read some of the characters that are in their names. Like, they're not visible in 4th grade, if you're just human.
Do you remember in 4th grade where you would draw an S by, like, drawing 6 little lines and then connecting them? I saw some guy whose name was that, but, like, turned 80 degrees, and that was his fucking name.
I once saw a guy whose name was the entire... binary code decryption of original Google. It took
How did he pronounce
years
that?
to say his name.
Oh, shit.
So we shortened it down to...
Oh, is that why you were in 3rd high school for so long? Because every day at roll call, they would just be there for 3 years.
No, we did not let him... Like, well, to be honest, he didn't last very long because the 3rd time he said his name, someone shot him. And then... at the time, getting shot would make you shit yourself and blow up, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad when Trump updated the Second Amendment, he made it so when you get shot, shit comes out and you blow up.
Yeah, it was pretty
But that's not my favorite thing that he's done while in office. Digi,
okay.
His greatest achievement, Cyborg Emperor Trump, while in office, has been the genocide of all Mexican people. It's what he promised us when he started running back in 2015, you know? He told us...
2015.
Well, let me remind you. He warned us way back then, almost 1,000 years ago, that they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, he assumes, are good people. Turns out that assumption was wrong, and Trump did what he had to do. It all started in the year 2018 when he built a wall not only... dividing the United States and Mexico, but a wall around all of Mexico to keep them in. And then in 2020, he just dropped a shit ton of nukes on there. No more Mexicans. It was easy.
Man, this is some early Trump career shit you're talking about.
He did some of his best stuff at the beginning.
If I had to say his greatest achievement, like not even just political, just the greatest thing he ever did, when he took that dump that bridged the... You remember when he took that dump that was so big it created a land bridge between America and the UK? And then we were able to just drive to Hippo's house like no fucking problem. It was fucking awesome. That's the best thing Trump's done for me anyway.
And thank God that they built those car washes on either side of the bridge because my car stunk.
My first car sank into it, and I had to hitchhike the rest of the way. Because I didn't have a flying car yet, which were just kind of new at the time.
Yeah.
Don't try to cross the shit bridge with a regular car. Not that those exist anymore. But
get a flying car to cross the bridge.
If you're for some reason still on Earth, where the shit bridge... I think most people go to Earth just to cross the shit bridge at this point.
Yeah.
Because no one knows how he pushed that out. Like... This was only in the 2300s. He was not cybernetically enhanced.
No,
man
it was still just a human.
Yeah. I mean, after we fucking eradicated the Mexicans, like, the rest of us spent the rest of our lives trying to replicate Mexican food because we realized that, like, we needed them for that and we'd fucked up really badly.
Right.
So in our attempts to replicate it, we just kept somehow, like, what we remembered about Mexican food was that it makes you shit. So we just kept putting more and more laxatives into our food, and Trump was trying so hard to, like, virtue signal about how he, like the Mexicans had been okay because now everybody, missed them.
Well, if you'll remember, it was Cinco de Mayo, and he wanted to try a Mexican taco bowl, and it got out of hand so quickly.
Yeah. I don't think anybody had ever actually tried one before him. Maybe that's why he's the only one who's ever shit a shit bridge across the Atlantic.
Well, did you all agree that the loss of Mexican food is tragic, but you're not thinking of all the positives and how the world was improved upon the death of every Mexican person? First of all...
Such as?
First of all, there were no more Mexicans. It's pretty good. Second of all, have you ever had a problem getting a job since the year 2020? No, because there's nobody here taking your job.
I haven't needed a job in the last, 600 of those years. I miss having a job. I miss everything before I was immortal. Namely, the ability to die.
Yeah. Well, I had a problem, because every time I tried to get a job, suddenly a Mexican person would have it. They would just keep stealing our jobs, like right out from under us. So now, after Trump, we can get jobs again. There's no more crime. Remember, the United States had no more crime until the first robot war began.
I mean...
Because the Mexicans kept bringing the crime.
There hasn't been any crime, per se. I mean, most of what we do on a second-by-second basis would have been considered a crime back in those days.
Well, yeah.
But now that morals are so lax because nobody can die, who's to say what is a crime anymore?
Well, Digi, let me ask you a question. Do you like all those drugs that you do every day?
Yes.
Well, the only reason why you have them is because once the Mexicans were dead, they couldn't bring their drugs anymore. Like Trump said, they're bringing crime and drugs. There was no more human drugs anymore, so we had to invent new ones. The white people invented the new drugs that the Mexicans used to bring, and that's how all the drugs that you love came to be.
Yeah, that's why Neo Steely Dan wrote that song Neo Kid Charlemagne about the guy who created Neo LSD.
Did you? I know that song. It's the new national anthem.
Yeah.
You don't gotta tell me twice. Unfortunately, killing all the Mexicans did not prevent rape, because as you explained, with the great Event Horizon or whatever the fuck, there's still been plenty of rape, but that's okay.
You can look that up on TV Tropes, which is still a website, and has not been touched in 1,000 years.
Wow. Some guy started browsing it 1,000 years ago, and he's still clicking on links to this day.
Yeah, that's me. Now that I can click on links on, my third sub-thought level, I've just, one of my sub-thought levels is just clicking TV tropes at all times.
Perfect. Well, that's all I got. What else you got?
I haven't even said mine? Yeah, I did. It was the shit bridge.
I thought you'd have more points about it.
No, it was fucking great. We got to see Hippo whenever we wanted, because it didn't cost $1,000 to fly.
That's true.
To the UK. It was just a 12-hour drive.
Well, I have a few problems with the ship bridge. First of all, it stinks. It stinks. Like, the whole world stinks now, and we can't make the smell go away.
Nobody goes to Earth anyways. Who cares if it stinks?
I still live on Earth. I couldn't afford a condo on Mars.
I don't even live in that solar system anymore.
Well, not everybody's Patreon is 8,000 Gorglons per month. So, okay, we can't all afford to live in a different solar system.
For those who don't know, 8,000 Gorglons translates to, 17 ref credits.
Yeah, so, in case you didn't know that
yeah, well, I do everything in credits out here.
Right.
Gorglons are kind of dated.
Here's another problem with the ship bridge. We ran out of trees because Donald Trump ordered all trees to be turned into toilet paper so we could clean up. And then we ran out of trees, which means we ran out of oxygen. No more oxygen on Earth, just so Donald Trump could wipe his ass.
And
wasn't a good trade-off.
So, are you saying you're not happy with the cybernetic enhancements that you only got because Cyborg Emperor Trump, after realizing humans couldn't survive on Earth, decided to add in free cyborg enhancements to the healthcare clause, which is why you could afford that shit, you broke bastard?
I mean, I get it, but I do miss, seeing trees. I miss being able to breathe manually and not having it pumped in through my ears.
That shit's gay.
Well, yeah. I mean, and the ship bridge, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I know it's an unpopular opinion. It's pretty shitty.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I like that about it.
Okay, Digi. Earlier we were talking about, these things called, what do you say, like television shows? It was on like a 2D screen, you said?
Yeah, they used to be... There was one you really liked, I remember. In fact, I based one of the questions around it, so hopefully you'll remember this show. You were way into one called Futurama.
Okay.
Which was about the year 3000, which we're in now.
Oh, shit. That's a good point.
Yeah, we were going to discuss what is the best thing that Futurama got right. Something they predicted correctly about.
Well, there's so many things, it's hard to choose.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot wrong, but the amount that they got right is kind of uncanny.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first and just pick the obvious one. It's an easy answer, but I gotta go with it. The suicide booth.
Oh.
They got it right that they would be invented. Unfortunately, they got the year wrong. When the show was written in 1999, they said in episode 1 that the suicide booth was created in 2008, which is kind of funny because it's like they planned, they were able to predict that financial crash, which is actually kind of astonishing. But they were wrong. The suicide booth didn't come until the year 2022. But it's been my favorite of all of Futurama's predictions because I always know that if things get too rough, I can always grab a quarter and go into one of those booths and choose a suicide method of my choice. Sure, these days I can't actually die, but I can still experience what my ancestors must have felt when they wanted to commit suicide.
That's
it's like
true.
It's a way to embrace my heritage of wanting to kill myself by going into one of those booths.
If there's one great thing that the immortality has done to us, it's that up until then, everyone was like, oh, I don't, like, basically nobody who had successfully killed themselves could communicate with those who hadn't what it was like. We had no idea how much it hurts, what it's going to be like to kill ourselves. Now we know exactly what it's like. Turns out, gets you real hard.
Just like in that movie Groundhog Day, where Bill Murray kills himself like 100 times and then wakes up the next day. Like, we get to experience every suicide method. If I want to know what it feels like to burn alive, I can. If I want to know what a gunshot to the head feels like, I can. If I want to know what a hollow train feels like when it hits you with its floating hoverboard shit, I can know what that feels like. And then I can just go do the next one.
Remember that time we both jumped in that volcano while we were making out? When we went to that gay phase like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was great. And it was like we were just hanging out in the lava, just taking a swim.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my enhancements back then. I think it was just, it's because they found out that monkeys are immune to lava, so I was okay.
My skin and muscles kept melting off and then regrowing and melting off and regrowing. I probably died like 80 times. But man, let me tell you, my pores were thoroughly open by the time I got out of that pool.
Yeah, your skin was completely clear after that day. So suicide booths, my favorite prediction from Futurama. What do you got?
Oh, that would have to be the giant Bender statue.
Oh, okay.
The one that keeps chanting, "Remember me," and breathing fire.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
So, in memoriam, like in memory of Futurama, because there was a period in like 2600 where the future was exactly like Futurama. It was like 400 years early, but it was almost exactly the same. And Bender was real, and everyone loved Bender. Because at this point, Futurama was now being filmed as a reality TV show because all the characters literally existed.
Didn't Futurama get sued by Rick and Morty for being a ripoff, though? Wasn't that like a big controversy?
It was weird, yeah. There was a whole back and forth between the two of them. Because apparently Futurama was claiming that Rick and Morty had ripped them off like 600 years prior.
No
one can really remember which one came first.
I'm pretty sure
they're both
it was
in
Rick
the same
and Morty.
like 15 years, which at this point is like, who can
That's like
differentiate between 15 years, right? So back when the world like was literally Futurama, Bender became
which
really
at the
popular.
time we called Present-rama.
Yeah, it was pretty clever. We were clever people for a time.
Trump was really proud of himself for that one.
Yeah, Trump did like everything back then. Trump was fucking everywhere.
Yeah, and now he just lets big YouTube do his job for him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's too bad.
That's unfortunate. Sorry.
Haven't heard that one in 1,000 years.
My eyes rolled back into my head, and I lost consciousness for a second. And so I think I was receiving a Onisama message for a second there, like a transmission from the great Onisama. Anyways, yeah, when everything was Futurama for a while, we built the statue to Bender, and then we realized that was like really easy. So we built like 7 million of them, and they were fucking every street corner. Like instead of street lights, we just had giant Bender statues, and it was pretty fucking cool until like they started falling because like 200 years later they were all rusted through because we made them out of cheap bullshit. So yeah, a lot of people got crushed, and we didn't realize at first because that was when immortality was kind of new, and when people got like killed or crushed under things, we didn't usually send rescue teams out because we just assume everyone's safe all the time. Turns out, even if you're immortal, if you get stuck under something, you could be stuck under there for a good 100 years if nobody comes to check.
Yeah,
like,
it's terrifying. That's one of my biggest fears is being crushed and dying over and over again, and nobody's there to save me.
Yeah, there's a good reason I started doing so many drugs.
Yeah.
Because I got stuck in the mouth of one of those benders once for a good couple of fortnights.
I was wondering why we weren't recording the podcast, but I didn't care enough to investigate into your well-being.
That's why we're only on episode 2586, in spite of having gone supposedly weekly for 1,000 years.
We stopped going weekly like episode 7. So my question to you, Digi, is, the question is very specific. What is the best thing that they got right? How are falling apart, destructed Bender statues better than suicide booths?
Because suicide booth it was fun for like the first couple 100 years when we were just experimenting with all the different ways to die. But at this point, I've given up on death. Like, I understand it thoroughly, so I don't care about it.
We just did a slow motion suicide segment at the very beginning. You know that you still love death. You're just saying that.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, the most deathly I've ever felt was that time I spent trapped in that Bender statue.
Yeah.
It
sounds like that's a terrible thing. Why is that the best thing if it was the worst period of your life?
Because I love death.
Okay.
It's the conceit of the show.
If you love death, you should pick suicide booth.
This felt more like death than suicide. Suicide booth, I get killed, I'm back.
Yeah.
Bender, I was trapped for months.
That's fair.
That's real death.
I would rather be dead than trapped inside of Bender for a few months. Well, Digi, I have some bad news.
Yeah?
This week we do not have any hollow voice grams. Nobody wanted to send us an automated sophisticated hologram voice message.
Did no one send any at all, or did they just not understand?
No, we actually didn't get any this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine because we ran the show out to a whole hour, so.
Well, just about, yeah. So, if there are any last things that we want to say while currently in the year 3000, I guess now would be the time to do so.
Hold on, I'm feeling like a flash. Something's coming back to me. Something I haven't said in hundreds of years.
What could it be?
It's
an
flashing.
Old catchphrase, perhaps?
Oh my god, I've got so many. I'm remembering like tens of thousands of catchphrases that I came up with.
Wait, I think I'm getting
in the
into
last week.
Hey, every pony. Is that it?
No, not that one.
No?
No,
I'm a fat piece of shit that should kill himself. Is that it?
Oh, that was like only a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know.
Suck my dick. Fuck my ass.
From the future. Hey. There we go.
Monkey Jones is gonna break your bones. He knows what he's talking about. He got stats, a homegrown stone cold balls out killer and a no doubt thriller living in the back of a distillery.
Digi B going great, thinking about life and shit. He's got a big dick, plenty on his mind to spit. So don't doubt his legitimacy. When you see his post, don't think we share and retweet.